Okay, let's start plaintiff.
Yes, Your Honor. Light is here and ready.
Or would you like to make appearances?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. My name is Lauren Stoneman. I'm joined by my co-counsel, Mr. Matthew,
Good morning.
Ms. Wu. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
And Mr. Frank McPhee.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
We represent the plaintiff in today's case, represented in court by Mr. Emerson Rashon.
Ms. Emerson Rajon.
Constructively, Your Honor.
Okay, defense, would you like to make your appearances?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. My name is Rosenthal. I'm joined by my colleagues, Mr. David Lee
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
and Miss Isa Kidwai.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
We're also joined at council table by Mr. Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Good morning. Any housekeeping matters, anything you need to go through before the
Yes, Your Honor, we'd like to invoke Rule 603 and 615, with constructive swearing in and sequestration of all witnesses, so that we don't have to go through that process on the stand.
Sure, so you want to sequester all witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, barring party representatives.
Okay, so that'll be Emerson Rajon.
Yes, Your Honor, and Mr. Mothersbaugh as well.
Okay, any objections to that?
No objections.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, we'd just like to make note of the stipulation in today's case.
Sure.
Your Honor, I believe it's stipulation 4.
You can just read it.
We'd just like to note that Rule 702 is waived in this case. Both the experts in today's case meet the promise of 702 and won't be objecting. Pardon me, pursuant to a pretrial order, not a stipulation.
For trial order, okay. Defense, is that your understanding that all the two objections have been waived?
That's our understanding as well.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor, we're ready to go.
That's,
Just one last thing, Your Honor, we'd just like to draw the court's attention to stipulation 8. That all relevance objections and objections under Rule 403 have been waived on the testimony of both Jean Maloney and Ali Uchida. Those are two witnesses that would be testifying today.
okay, that was submitted. Thank you for your understanding as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else, defense?
Nothing further from us.
All right, plaintiff, when you're ready.
May I proceed?
Yeah.
The defendant had a target and took it too far. AJ Maloney was a bouncer. He worked 7 nights a week at a club downtown. He manned the door, took care of the rowdy customers, also that he could come home and look after his little brother. But then on July 20th of 2024, he's escorting someone out of the nightclub like any ordinary night. He steps outside, he hears a noise. And before he knows what's happening, someone comes up behind him, breaks his arms, beats him to the ground, and leaves him unconscious in the alley. He never wakes up. They didn't take his keys. They didn't take his wallet. This wasn't about money. It wasn't revenge. So why did this attack happen? Well, today you're going to learn about the defendant, Mr. Teddy Mothersbaugh. You're going to learn that, well, he likes to play the hero. He likes to wander the streets of Morado and enforce justice as he sees fit. And you're going to learn that his new target was Mr. Maloney and the nightclub that he worked at. So he staked the club out. He followed Mr. Maloney home. He threatened Mr. Maloney's family. And then on July 20th, he took it too far when he attacked Mr. Maloney, all in the name of justice. But we think justice is better left to all of you. That's why we, the plaintiff, have brought forward a civil lawsuit, something called civil battery. And now all that means is that we need to prove to you that this defendant, well, that he intentionally carried out an act of violence against Mr. Maloney, and that he caused Mr. Maloney harm. We need to prove that to you by a preponderance of the evidence, which just means you need to think it's more likely than not. And we're going to meet that burden today. Because we're going to show you that the defendant had a target and that he took it too far. So first, the target. You're going to hear from Mr. Maloney's younger brother, Gene. He's going to tell you that the defendant started following him home, started making threats to him. Then he's going to tell you about the phone call that he got from the hospital, the phone call that changed his life. Lastly, he's going to tell you that his brother's attacker was this defendant. Second, you're going to hear about the defendant taking it too far. You're going to hear from a medical expert. That's Dr. Mino. He's going to walk you through all of the injuries that Mr. Maloney was inflicted with. All of the broken bones, the bleeding, the bruising. He's going to tell you, well, that actually you can build a profile of an attacker from the injuries they leave behind. And he's going to show you that the profile of the attacker in this case meets the description of Mr. Mothersbaugh. The defendant had a target, and he took it too far. Now, in a moment, plaintiff counsel is going to stand before you, or defense counsel is going to stand before you, and I suspect that they're going to tell you their own story. They're going to tell you, well, that the defendant, he had to do what he did that night because he had to defend somebody else. Members of the jury, when they try to tell you that this was a spontaneous attack, remember that the defendant had a target. When they try to tell you that the defendant only did what he had to do, remember that the defendant took it too far. And then at the end of today's trial, after you've heard all of the evidence, we're going to ask that you find justice the right way. We're going to ask that you find in favor of the plaintiff. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for that. Defense counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have received. He didn't strike first. He stepped in. How much are you willing to lose? See, that's a question that people ask themselves all the time, because it's an important one. If you know what matters to you, you know what you need to protect. And that's the same question that Mr. Teddy Mothersbaugh asked himself when he came to the conclusion that any man, what matters to him. Where he draws the line, the one thing he's not willing to lose are the people he loves. That's what was at stake on August 25th of last year. When Mr. Mothersbaugh's boyfriend, Ali Uchida, was about to bust the biggest crime ring in the city of Murata. That night, Ali Uchida found evidence that could put that crime ring into the ground once and for all, and members of the jury, they couldn't have that happen. So a member of that crime ring, he chases Ali Uchida into an alley. The member of that crime ring, AJ Maloney, he grabs Ali Uchida and he throws him to the ground. He holds him there until he can barely breathe, and as he's trying to get back up, he punches him down again and again until he's nearly dead. But at the last minute, just as AJ Maloney is about to deliver the killing blow, someone stops him. Teddy Mothersbaugh. He holds AJ Maloney back so that he can stop hurting Ali Uchida. Teddy Mothersbaugh did not strike first. But when the time came, members of the jury, he stepped in. That's what makes this trial interesting for you. Because today, you're not here to figure out whether or not Teddy Mothersbaugh and AJ Maloney got in a fight. We know that. They did. What you're here to do is to figure out why. Because by the end of this trial, if you believe that it's more likely that Teddy Mothersbaugh was only in that fight because he was protecting Ali Uchida, and he's not liable. And members of the jury, we're gonna make your job very easy for you today because you're gonna get to hear from Ali Uchida herself. He's gonna tell you in excruciating detail about how he was pushed to a wall, thrown against the ground, and punched over and over again. And if it sounds like that would be difficult to listen to, remember that he had to feel it. He's gonna tell you what he felt. That night he was terrified for his life, that the only reason he's here today telling you his story is because Teddy Mothersbaugh stepped in to save it. But you don't just have to take his word for it. Because you're also going to learn that the science, well, it lines up with everything that Ali Uchida has to say. You're going to get to hear from the forensic analyst that worked with the police to investigate the crime scene, and she's going to walk you through exactly how you walk through a crime scene. She's going to show you how you can analyze the blood and the evidence left behind to figure out what really happened. And she'll tell you what she found. That the evidence tells us Teddy Mothersbaugh didn't strike first, he stepped in to save a life. So it all comes back to that question, members of the jury, how much are you willing to lose? Is that, imagine that all of you want to make the right decision today. Don't lose that opportunity. We're going to ask you to find Teddy Mothersbaugh not liable. Because he didn't strike first. He stepped in.
Thank you, defense. Plaintiff,
Yes, Your Honor.
call your first witness.
Of course, Your Honor. The plaintiff would like to call Jean Maloney to the stand.
You may proceed with it.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Can you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury here?
Hi, my name is Gene Maloney.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a student going into my senior year of high school, so I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life after. AJ used to tell me to go to culinary school. You know, I was always the one doing the cooking for us. I'm still figuring it out.
Who's AJ?
My older brother. He took care of us growing up after our parents died before.
Before what?
The coma. He's been in a coma for the past year.
Sorry for what happened to you, Mr. Malone. Let's take a step back. Can you tell us what life was like before AJ fell into a coma?
Growing up was rough, you know, a lot of couch surfing, cold nights, but AJ made it okay. You know, made sure I felt cared for, protected. And about 4 years ago, he finally got a job working as a bouncer at this nightclub downtown.
Have you yourself ever visited that nightclub?
No, and I'm 17 years old. I'm not exactly the target demographic. And I'm not the kind of kid to have a fake ID either, I promise.
Mr. Maloney, I know this may be a difficult question, but can you tell us if your brother AJ ever mentioned drug deals at the nightclub?
No, I never heard him say anything about that. I mean, I know what people think about places like that, but I never heard AJ say anything like that.
And other than myself just now, has anyone else asked you about drugs at the nightclub?
Yeah,
Who?
the serpent.
The serpent?
Yeah. For 2 years, he's taken justice into his own hands, you know, wears a mask, you know, hides his identity.
talk more about the serpent. Mr. Maloney, you told us that the serpent came around asking you about drug deals at the nightclub. When was this?
Last year, 4th of July, I was with this guy Ian when he pulled out this bag of powder. You know, it looked like drugs, so I was about to tell him no when I saw this shadowy figure. Green costume, matched the height, the build, the serpent.
What happened
At
next?
this point, to a lack of foundation, if I may be heard.
Sure.
Your Honor, for this witness to testify that this person dressed up in this costume was in fact the serpent, we have it on a good faith basis that these costumes were sold regularly in stores. It was a costume that many people wore, and so we need to hear a little more foundation as to how this person wearing this costume was in fact the actual serpent and not someone dressed up as the serpent.
I'll give you your response.
Yes, Your Honor. This witness just testified that they saw that this person in a green costume had the same height and build as the serpent. In addition, in this city, the serpent is a public figure. Every civilian knows what he looks like. And therefore, Your Honor, sufficient foundation has been laid for this witness to testify that he believed that the person looked like the serpent.
I'm gonna overrule.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Maloney, what happened next?
We pointed at the bag of powder. And he said, "You got that at the nightclub, didn't you? You would know, Maloney. Your brother works there. You better tell me what you know, or else."
How did you respond?
I mean, I wanted to shout back, you know, say, "I don't know anything about any drugs. My brother would never do that in his life," but then I heard the sirens, the cops, and the serpent ran away.
Now, you told us earlier that the serpent conceals his identity. Do you have any idea who the serpent might be?
Actually, I do. Later that month, I met someone named Teddy Mothersbaugh. He had the exact same height, build, and voice as when I met the serpent.
And can you tell us exactly when you met Teddy Mothersbaugh, the defendant in today's case?
Yeah, I met him twice. The next day on July 5th, and also July 20th. That was the day AJ got hurt.
Sir, I want to take those dates one at a time, starting with July 5th. What happened?
Well, it was summer break, so you know I was home alone when I saw these two people outside of our house. One of them, they introduced themselves as this reporter, Ali Uchida, and his partner, Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Did the defendant say anything to you?
No, Teddy stayed quiet, but Ali, he turned to Teddy and he said, "Is this the one from last night? You know, the 4th of July with Ian and the drugs when we saw the serpent."
After that, what happened?
Well, Ali turned to me and started asking me all these questions about AJ. You know, I don't know how they knew who he was or his name, but they asked me if AJ was home.
Mr. Maloney, how did that make you feel?
I mean, I was scared. Look, I'm not going to pretend to know everything about investigations, but they didn't show me a warrant. I didn't see any police with them. And then Ali leaned into me and he said, "You better tell us what you know, or you and AJ will burn."
I know this may be hard to talk about. Mr. Maloney, I want to shift now to your second encounter with the defendant. July 20th. Can you walk us through that day?
Well, it started pretty normal. You know, I had a late shift for my summer job, so I left the house after I said goodbye to AJ. I still remember him looking back at me, waving, smiling.
What happened after?
I worked for a few hours before I got this phone call. It was a random number, and I picked up, and it was this guy who sounded really panicked. He said he was someone I knew from the nightclub who worked with AJ. He said I had to get there as soon as possible. Said AJ was attacked by the serpent.
What did you do?
Well, I ran. I didn't even think. I just ran as fast as I could right to the nightclub. But by the time I got there, they said AJ was taken in an ambulance, to the hospital.
What happened?
Well, I had to get there, be with him, be there for my brother. But by the time I got to his room, he wasn't moving. He was bleeding from the head. That's when they took me out of the room. That's when I saw Teddy Mother's spot.
Mr. Maloney, can you tell us more?
He looked terrible. Had black eyes, scratches on his face. And then Teddy leaned in. And he said he was sorry for what happened to AJ at the nightclub.
Did you see the defendant again after that?
No, I don't know how he knew what happened, but I've had to live with the consequences of that night for a full year. I went into foster care. But I still visit AJ. I visit him in the hospital every day. He was my only family. And he deserves justice.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Maloney. Your Honor, I have no further questions at this time.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
May I proceed? Mr. Maloney, do you know what a quid pro quo is?
No, ma'am, I don't think I've learned that yet in school.
All right, well, let's talk about it, because sir, we're not here because you wanted to bring this lawsuit, are we?
No,
No, we're here because Emerson Rajan wanted to bring this lawsuit, true?
that's right. Emerson, he owns the nightclub that AJ worked at.
That's right, he's your brother's former boss.
Yes,
He's also the plaintiff's party representative today, true?
that's right. I think he was the one that filed the lawsuit.
He asked you to bring this lawsuit, true?
That's right. He asked me to testify.
And you listened.
I did.
So that's because Mr. Rajan has been bankrolling your entire life, right?
Well, ever since AJ's gone, he's been helping out.
That's right, because you're only 17, like you said.
Yes,
So Mr. Rajan, he pays for AJ's medical bills, right?
he does. Yes,
He's been paying for your acting classes?
that's right. I'm outside of school.
Sir, let me get this straight. So Mr. Rajan, he asks you to bring this lawsuit.
He did.
He asks you to testify in this lawsuit.
That's right. He's been helping out our family.
And then he sends you to acting classes as preparation to testify?
No, ma'am, he didn't send me. He's just helping cover the costs.
Right, he's paying for those acting classes for you.
That's right.
Sir, are you using those acting classes on the stand today?
Ma'am, my brother's been in a coma for a year. I hope you would feel similarly if something happened to your family.
Sir, but that's a yes to my question, Mr. Rajan. He sent you to those acting classes.
He did.
And here today, you want to pay Mr. Rajan back for all that he's done for you with your testimony, right?
I hope I can help pay him back. I mean, he's been helping out our family a lot.
I want to talk about how you might be trying to pay him back. Because on direct examination, you told us a lot about how Mr. Uchida and his partner, they were talking to you, investigating you, right?
That's right. They were following us for weeks.
That's right, they came to your house.
Yes,
They asked you some questions.
they did.
They, God forbid, tried to speak to you.
Well, ma'am, they asked me. My brother was home. They told me to tell them what I knew or else.
Sir, do you know what an investigative journalist is?
I do, ma'am.
You know that the job of an investigative journalist is to investigate, right?
To investigate, I don't know about threatening 17-year-olds.
Well, hold on, sir. They just asked you if your brother was home.
They did.
And you know, Mr. Ochita, he is an investigative journalist, right?
That's my understanding. I think he was some kind of reporter.
About what else you can't tell us, because you were talking a lot about this fight that happened, but I want to be perfectly clear. You weren't actually there when the fight happened, were you?
No, I got there too late.
So, sir, you can't actually tell us what happened during that fight, can you?
I couldn't say.
You can't tell us why Mr. Mothersbaugh intervened, can you?
I don't know why he attacked me.
You can't tell us if he was attacking defensively, right?
I couldn't tell you that.
You can't tell us if he was trying to protect somebody else.
No, ma'am.
If you can't tell us any of that, I want to talk about why you're still testifying against him today. You hate him.
After what he did to my brother, ma'am. I do.
You think he is a sick and twisted person.
Yes,
You think he deserves what's coming to him.
that's right.
Sitting on that stand today, you're hoping that your testimony will ruin Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Absolutely. I hope that he doesn't get the chance to hurt anyone else.
That's a yes to my question. You're hoping to ruin him.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor. May this witness be excused?
Thank you. And that's when you call your next witness, I just want to set up.
Yes.
We'll take a quick break. The defense, the defense.
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Ali Uchida to the stand. Can I proceed?
Okay.
Good morning. Can you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
Sure. Hi. My name is Ali Uchida.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Uchida?
I'm an investigative journalist. That means that I don't sit at a desk and write columns. I work out in the field, try to chase down the stories the other guys don't want to follow.
How'd you get into that line of work?
Well, I grew up in a small town. Everybody knew everybody's business. A lot of gossip. So you learn to tell a good story. After that, I went to school and the rest is history.
Mr. Uchida, you know why you're here today?
Last summer I was attacked. I was working on a story. Things got messy. My partner saved me. He's being sued for what he did to the guy that attacked me, so I'm here to tell you why he did it.
I wanna take things from the beginning. How did you and your partner first meet?
Me and Teddy met at a ballroom dance class. We were the only two people without partners. I remember the instructor, he looked at us and he said, "You two wallflowers can bloom together." All the way through Levion Rose, he was stepping on my toes, right? Next morning, wake up to a bouquet of roses. Guard says, "Call me wallflower." So I did.
Did you ever talk with him about your work?
Yeah, sure. I remember he got a kick out of the stories I would tell him about, hopping fences and running away from security. I told him, it'd be a lot easier to do this if I had some backup, someone to come and step in case something goes wrong. He agreed to start coming along.
What was the first story you two worked on together?
It's the story about the club. Hellfire. I heard some rumors there might have been some shady dealings going on over there, so I wanted to see for myself.
How'd you go about investigating the club?
The first step was to build a profile, right? I want to know who's connected. So I would observe and try to interview the staff, the bartenders, the cleaners, the bouncers, and just asking questions.
Sir, were you at the club on the night of July 20th?
I was. Yeah, I got a tip about some big shipment that was coming in. I thought that could be my break.
What was the plan for that night?
Well, the plan was that I was gonna go inside. I was gonna look around, in and out, 20, 30 minutes tops. Teddy, he was gonna wait around the block in case he needed to step in. Simple. No one was supposed to get hurt.
Sir, I know that night was traumatic for you. Do you remember everything that happened?
I'll be honest, Miss Jones. I don't. Some of the details are fuzzy.
All right, then I just want you to tell us what you remember clearly, okay?
All right.
How did that night start for you?
Well, Teddy dropped me off and he gave me a kiss, told me good luck. And then he parked around the block. I go inside, blend in, and start looking around.
When did things go wrong?
When I went in the restricted area. Saw a sign that said staff only, so I go in and there's a storage room next to a loading dock, with a whole lot of boxes there. I looked inside and I don't know what the powder was, but I know you don't store flour like that, okay? It was wrapped up in saran wrap with duct tape and everything.
So what did you do?
Well, I needed proof. Picture's worth 1,000 words, so I pull out my phone to take a picture and I made a rookie mistake. My flash was on. Soon as I take that picture, I hear footsteps coming down the hall.
Who was it?
The bouncer. He comes in and asks me, "Wait, what are you doing in here?" And I try to come up with some excuse like, "Oh, I'm looking for the bathroom." He doesn't buy it, right? He grabs my wrist, starts dragging me out towards the back door, towards the alley.
What happened next?
But he pushes me out the door, steps out and closes it behind him. And I'm confused because I'm like, I'm already outside. I'm gonna leave. I'm not causing any trouble. But he keeps coming at me. I'm on the ground, so I start crawling back, trying to get away from him, and he keeps coming at me.
What did he do?
And he grabbed my arm. And he pulled it back. I hear it pop. And it's just a shooting pain with the neck.
Sir, did you try to fight back?
I tried. I mean, of course I tried to fight back, but he was stronger than me. I scratched him on the arm, but it seemed like it just made him hit me harder. He grabbed me, he threw me against the wall, smacked my head.
What's the next thing you remember?
I was on the ground. Leaning on top of me. And I'm thinking to myself, we did it this time out. This might be it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this one.
Sir, how did you make it out alive?
I was saved. I'm laying on the ground. And I hear footsteps coming down the alley. I open my eyes, I look up, and somebody's holding him back. He's holding him back off of me.
You know who it was?
I couldn't tell at first. And so I'm looking at him, and he sort of turns his head, and I can see the lower half of his face in the light. It's Teddy. Teddy stepped in. After that, I just blacked out. I know what happened.
When did you next wake up?
In the hospital. I don't know how long I've been. And I'm confused, right? I don't know how I got there. So I'm thinking, you know, where's Teddy? Where's the bouncer? What's going on? And then somebody takes my hand. I look over and Teddy was right there. Was right there. He says, I got you. Got this big bruise across his face. He got beat up. I say, I'm sorry. He says, don't worry, I will always be there to protect.
Sir, did you ever learn what happened to that bouncer?
I did. I learned he was in a coma. Look, I'm not happy about it. I know that's hard. And my heart goes out to his family. I mean, that's not fair, but you have to understand that when I was in that alley, I thought I was gonna die.
How do you feel about everything that happened that night?
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that we thought ahead. I'm grateful that Teddy stepped in. I'm grateful to be alive.
Thank you, sir. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Permission to proceed, Your Honor?
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Uchida.
More
Now, my name is Melody Wu. I'm an attorney for the plaintiff. I just want to ask you a few more questions today, sir. That's all right with you.
okay.
I want to first start by talking about what you do for work. You told us on direct examination you're an investigative journalist.
Yeah, that's right.
But sir, you'd prefer to be called a storyteller, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I write stories.
Let's talk about the story you just told us on direct examination. Now, you told us on direct examination that on July 20th, you were almost beaten to death by AJ Maloney.
Right. It was.
But that was until your partner, the serpent, swooped in and saved your life.
Yes.
Correct.
Thank God that he was there. He stepped in. So I was able to make it out.
All right, you're telling us all those things, Mr. Uchida. But the truth is, you're willing to lie to get further in your career. Isn't that true?
No.
Well, Mr. Uchida, isn't it true you've lied to get a promotion in the past?
What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm talking about, sir, is you used to work at PMZ, right?
Yeah. That's a tabloid. You're right. Celebrity gossip kind of stuff. That was my first job at college.
Right, and sir, working at PMZ, you were actually twisting the real facts to create juicier content.
That's true. Our target demographic is bored moms in the grocery aisle. They asked me to juice up the stories, and so I did before I left.
Right. And that line, it got you far, because later you got a promotion at that company, right?
That's true. Yeah, worked my way up, and then I moved on to a different company.
Just to be clear, Mr. Uchida, you worked your way up by lying.
Right, I would take the celebrity details, make them exciting. That's what I did.
That's a yes, Mr. Uchida, you lied to get a promotion.
I wrote the tablets. It's true.
Mr. Uchida, isn't it true you're willing to do anything for the story of a lifetime?
You gotta leave.
No, sir, but I'm simply asking you, sitting on that stand today, you're willing to do anything for a story of a lifetime, right, sir?
Sure.
You're willing to do anything to get further in your career.
Yeah.
And sir, I want to talk about that story of a lifetime you might have been working on. On July 9th, you went to the Hellfire Lounge to investigate, right?
I did. That's right.
Mr. Uchida, you got into an altercation with Mr. Maloney, the bouncer?
That's right. Yeah, he ended up throwing me out.
Right, he threw you out and it's true, you were quite upset by them.
Yeah, I wasn't happy, I wanted to ask some more questions.
Right, so Mr. Uchida, you went home and you told your partner, the defendant, about this news, that you were thrown out of the club?
Right. Right. And Teddy, he says, well, we'll all come with you. I'll be there to defend you.
Sir, that wasn't all the defendant said. He said that if anyone else did that to you again, he'd kill them, right?
Yes.
It's true, Mr. Uchida, he seemed furious when he heard that.
Yeah, Teddy's very protective of me. It's true.
I want to talk about whether the defendant carried through with that promise. Now, on July 20th, you got into another altercation with AJ Maloney.
That's right. That's the time that he beat me up.
This time, the defendant, the serpent, he swooped in and he attacked Mr. Maloney.
Wait, what? He was there for me. And I'm so grateful. I am.
Well, you're aware, Mr. Uchida, today Mr. Maloney, he's in a coma.
I know that.
Mr. Uchida, you're telling us you felt like you were going to die that night.
I did. I thought that was it. He was leaning on my windpipe. I couldn't breathe.
Mr. Uchida, isn't it true you only spent a couple of days at the hospital?
Right.
And you remember the intake form that they prepared for you, right, sir?
I do.
You'd recognize it if I showed it to you in court today?
Yeah, I think so.
Sir, if you could flip to Exhibit 2 in that binder. Just let me know when you're there.
Okay.
Sir, does this look to be a fair and accurate copy of your intake form from the hospital?
Yeah, that's my name.
Your Honor, at this time, the plaintiff moves to admit Exhibit 2 into evidence.
Any objections?
Yes, Your Honor, to hearsay.
You have a response?
Yes, Your Honor, there's actually an exception to hearsay for this document. Rule 8034 says that documents that are being used for a medical diagnosis are admissible. In this case, this intake form clearly states it lists out Mr. Uchida's symptoms that was made by the Demnath Hospital by the medical professionals. Therefore, Your Honor, this is admissible.
Response? Yes, Your Honor. Rule 8034 specifically applies to statements that patients are making to their doctors for the purpose of treatment or diagnosis. It doesn't apply to any sort of medical intake form describing someone's conditions. The exception doesn't apply here.
Yes.
Your Honor, actually, the phrasing of Rule 8034 can be interpreted both ways. It can be interpreted in the context of a patient conveying to their doctor their symptoms, but it can also be interpreted in the context of a medical professional making a diagnosis for a patient. In addition, Your Honor, we have it on a good faith belief, actually, that the experts who will later testify in this case will not contest the facts in this intake form.
what is your response to the experts contesting these facts?
Yes, Your Honor, we would actually need the chance to hear those experts, to hear the foundation they're laying, and have the opportunity to cross-examine them on those symptoms, on those diagnoses, before this document is simply admitted on the lay witness without any of that foundation. It's improper.
I am going to overrule the objection.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Uchida, you told us you thought you were gonna lose your life that night, right?
Did, you know. Got into some tough spots before, but nothing like that. Thought that guy wanted to kill me.
But sir, that's a wild exaggeration, isn't it?
Absolutely not. I was there. I was afraid for my life.
Sir, then let's take a look at this intake form. Because if I could direct your attention to page 1, your blood pressure says it was normal.
Yes,
Your respiration, normal.
yes,
Temperature, normal.
yeah, no fever.
Mr. Uchida, you also told us earlier that you thought you injured your arm, isn't that true?
Right. Pulled my arm back. Pulled it back so hard it popped.
You're saying it popped. Let's take a look at this intake form once again. It says no dislocation.
Yes, it's wrenched right shoulder. No dislocation.
And now you're aware this intake form was prepared by medical professionals.
Right, the doctor.
Now, if you could flip to the back page. It says under clinical notes, no signs of lasting neurological or orthopedic damage, correct?
That's what it says.
Mr. Uchida, that isn't the case for AJ Maloney, is it?
No. No, he's in a coma. And I mean, don't think I'm happy about that. You know, I didn't ask for this. And I'm sorry. I am.
Thank you, Mr. Uchida. No further questions